So, what is AI? Well, we're going to proceed today knowing that our focus is on AI with Google. But we're going to proceed with this basic understanding that when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about computers, machines, having been programmed to have human-like responses. Now, we know at this time that we're not talking about true human creativity. We're talking about predictive responses. AI can use sets of data, it can be trained, and when we give it prompts, we can get certain results. And when we're talking about AI with Google, let's be specific. I got this graphic from Google the other day, and it was really helpful for me to see what we were looking at. We're talking about different features. We're talking about different products that Google has included. And now some of them are features that are part of existing products. And one of the things that we'll do today is I'll go through some classic AI tools that are part of Google you might not think of as artificial intelligence, but sure enough, they use machine language. And I see that hand. Just give me a second, Constance. And in addition to those built-in tools that I call the classic tools, we'll look at Bard, which is a consumer product, and we'll look at Duet AI. Now, Vertex AI, I don't even really understand those enterprise solutions, and that's not what we'll be talking about today. You know, and let's be clear. You know, we're talking about AI in the context of education, and we understand that it's going to be a while before we see full-fledged generative AI being used in our classrooms. Isn't that right? Now we'll see it, and we are seeing it first being used by teachers for productivity. But we have some activities that we'll look at today where we can envision maybe some things that we could even work into our workflows. Let's get right into taking a look at Bard, and then we'll get into Duet. So I wanted to let you all know that I have a document. It's basically 2 pages, and it's full of resources that some of them are recommendations that I received from a fellow Google trainer. Others are just ones that I've been curating because I thought they would be useful. These are tools, and these are apps, and but I want to tell you, there's also 2 different demo accounts. So if you need an account to try out some of these features like Bard, for example, if you don't have Bard in your personal Google or your work Google, you might want to try one of these accounts. And that's going to be on, that information will be on the document, and I can share that with you later. Okay, so let's take a look at Bard. Now, one of the things you might find out is that depending on your account, you might have different features. So I'm going to go to Bard with my regular school account. And I just went to bard.google.com. If you want to try that on a separate browser, you know, on a separate tab, let me know if you're able to access bard.google.com. Yes? Okay, I got a few there. But you might notice that up at the top, I have these icons. I have my activity, and I have help, then I have settings. Then I have my waffle over here on the top right. That's to go back to my other Google apps, because right now I'm in the Google Workspace, right? But I'm going to use this other account, and I'm just going to show you the difference. Let's go back to Bard. I was in the middle of a chat. Okay. This one's not giving me the icon any. Well, we'll probably come back to this. Depending on your account, you might have the access to some extensions. So we'll come back to that. I wanted to show you just the different ways that you'll see it there. All right. We'll come back to Bard in just a few minutes, but I want to take a look at some of these classic tools. The first one I want to look at, if you want to try it with me, I'm just going to go to docs.new. I'm going to start a new Google Doc. And this tool that uses AI is very underrated, I guess you could say. I'd like to know if any of you have used it. It's called voice typing. And the way I get there is I go to Tools, and I just go down to voice typing. Now I could also use the command Control or Command on the Mac, Control Shift S.
Hey, Mark, I think the screen is frozen on the Bard.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me try that again. I'm going to just share my tab. Probably just a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see my document now. Awesome. I'm going to close my voice type and I'm going to start it up again, Tools, and go to voice typing. Now, what that does is it opens up this little widget. Now I can choose the language that I'm going to be speaking in. And there's like 80 languages that it can understand. That's for the typing part of it. In terms of giving it commands, it only right now understands English for the commands. When you're ready to speak, you click. So I'm gonna speak a little bit. We gotta allow the microphone. There we go. For the past decade, Google has been the market leader in the development of machine language, learning, programming standards, and research, period. Google claims that we, quote, "We've put AI to work for 3 billion users in Google Workspace, period," end quote.
Can you share again how you got to that dictation? What submenu is it?
Sure, I will. I'd be happy to. Thank you. Just a quick second. Let me finish this one step that I was going to do. I was going to turn back on. So what I think is so awesome, it's not just that you can dictate. Select word. Delete word. So the fact that you can give it commands, and I put a link in the resources there that you could do all the different commands. It's just amazing. Okay, so the way I got there was tools and voice typing. Now, the first time you click it on, it's going to ask you to enable your microphone. And just, wear that badge proudly that you could say, yeah, I use AI. I use it every day when I try to make my office work a little easier. All right. The next one we're going to look at is Google Translate. I'm sure many of you have used Google Translate. Go to translate.google.com. Yes? Okay. Oh, Sheila, hi. I'm glad you're here. Yes. Okay, so many of you have used Google Translate. I'm just going to take a minute and show you some of the features that you might not have seen or you didn't know. These are kind of hidden, right? Well, one is if you take you can do this easily on your phone with the app, but I'm going to click on images and I'm going to bring in an image that I know I want translated. And this is a sign that has Japanese writing, and I can't read Japanese. But it automatically detected the language and it translated it into English for me. So that is pretty cool. And then you can download or you can copy the text. Pretty awesome. But if I'm in a document, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take a document here. And let me just open this. How many of you have used Google Translate inside of Docs? Probably. Irene has? Of course you have. Yes. Okay, lots of you have. Well, this will be for those of you who haven't yet. I'm going to go to docs.new. And let's say I have a document, but it's in French. And my French is just not so good, right? Well, this is a legal stuff about how AI is being developed, ethically in the European Union. So I'm going to just click on my translate. So go to Tools and Translate Document. So I have my document in French. I go to Tools, Translate Document. I'm just going to call this French version. Choose the language to go to, and again, you have like 80 languages. So that's just incredible. Okay, click Translate, and it's going to create that new document for me that's in that language. Now, of course, this is AI, and you're going to need to review it. Probably even have a professional, depending on how you're going to do it. Yes, let's celebrate. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so I've given you 2 classic tools, and these are ones you've probably used many times, as you've said. We're going to look at one more. Okay, where's my notes? Oh, there they are. And this is Google Lens. And I know you probably have used Google Lens because it's built into many of your phones. But the way you get there is just go to google.com. Just do the old traditional Google search that you've seen for 20 years, right? But I don't know how many years ago they added the image icon here. So I can search by image. So I'm going to click on it there and upload a file. And I think I'm going to use that same sign. Let's see if it's in Japanese. Okay, there it is. So it found the sign, the same type of image. You see that on the right? It's finding that sign in other places all around. What I can also do is I can limit this area so I can tell it. This is basically like giving it a prompt, right? You can just have it do those characters. And there it focused just on those characters. So thumbs up for 3 awesome classic tools. I know there's many more. Yes. All right, what we want to see what Bard can do. So here we go. I'm going to go back to Bard. Let me close. I'll just come over here. And this time I'm going to share this tab. Hey, I did it. I shared this tab. See, there you go. I got it. Okay, so in my Bard, there you go. Bard has really coming into its own. Did you hear the announcement last week that they've started to roll out? Yes, Christina, sorry, interrupted there. I saw that. So Christina, for a plant identification, you take a picture with Google Lens on your phone, or you can just upload it on the web. Oh, Gemini was just announced last week, and there are many saying that it's putting Google Bard in a level playing field in a lot of ways, or even a more advanced than ChatGPT. But that's just a bunch of experts talking. But one of the things that I think is good to notice if you've used ChatGPT is there's particular focus in Bard to have some verification. So I'll just take a suggestion for a prompt, and then we'll go with that for the example. So can I have open mic or in the chat a suggestion for a prompt for Bard? Do I have any teachers? Maybe we can create a lesson plan.
I just tried it from my work email, and it seems like our settings are restricted for Bard from work.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Simon. There is a setting that you can ask your Google administrator about.
Okay.
If they might be able to turn it on, but they might have to have it reviewed. They turned it on for me because I'm doing some review. But you could also turn it on a personal account.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
On the personal. Yeah, I was using the work one, and it's saying it's not allowed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So different organizations are turning it on for their people at different times.
Okay.
Great, good question.
So
Okay.
how do you turn it on your private account?
Oh, okay. Well, go to bard.google. No. Yeah, go to bard.google.com and then follow the prompts.
Okay.
You betcha. And that'll be great. Okay, so let's see. Let's just do a basic query. How do I get access to Bard from my school account? Let's see what Google Bard has to say about that. All right. Give it a second. I'm not really so concerned about the content here as I am looking for some I want to do some more research on this. So I'm going to ask in response to that, can you provide some web links for that info? And let's see what Bart has to say about that. Okay, great. So this is what I was talking about with regards to the research assistant that Bard can be. I love how it gives you a little thumbnail of the website that you're referring to. So you can start to judge the quality of the data that it's giving you. And there's a link there from Google support. Sometimes it's a little much. I'm like, okay, that enough. All right, you pressed me with the first two. Come on. Okay, a couple other things just in terms of if this is your first time in Bard. You notice here that I can also upload an image. So I can. This is one of the ways that Bard is set itself apart here. It's multimodal. You can not just enter by text, but you can enter by image, sort of like Google Lens, right? So I thought, what if I did this? I'm going to bring a picture in here, and guess what? It's a sign. It's a Japanese language sign. But here I'm going to put a prompt. Can you translate this into English, please? Looks like we just had someone else come in. Welcome if you're just joining us. All right. And I did this earlier, so it worked fine. It's like, I guess what we're doing is we're testing Bard against Google Lens. Oh, look at that. That's really, did you see that? That's pretty cool. It even tells me the way to say it. Jitsensa wo nozuku. Well, I like this better than Lens. This is great. It gives me a little more information. Yeah. And then in terms of collaboration, built into your generated prompts are these little icons. Modify. Shorter, longer, simpler, casual, professional. I don't know how you can make that more professional, but let's try to make it a little bit more casual, see what happens. Anyway, just play with it and see what you learn. I tried to break it yesterday and it broke. It just froze and it just wouldn't give me any answers. I guess it was tired. Oh, that is cool. Did you see that? That does have more casual kind of language. Watch out, cyclists. This street is one way. Here's another option. Then you have your share and export. If you click the share, you know, your traditional sharing, you can share to prompts, or you can just share the whole chat, and then you could collaborate with someone else. Or you could just make it, you could just like share the results. So imagine that they're probably building out some other options and all of that too. And then if you want to do this to go into the data more, you click on the Google search and then you'll jump over to Google search. Okay, any questions, or did I go too fast? You can report legal issues there too. Thumbs up or thumbs down to give Google Bard some input. I'll give it a thumbs up. Uh-oh, are we training our future successors? No, I don't think so. All right. So we talked about, let me just make sure we got some of those key features that Bard is coming into its own. They say the experts are saying, and you can read about it. It's multimodal. You know, it can handle the images. They're They're saying they're going to be able to do image generation also, but we'll see about that. Oh, right. Also, if you're on an account that this isn't restricted in, down here at the bottom, you'll also have the ability to export results to Google Sheets or Docs or Slides. And that's the feature that I love a lot, is I'll create something that is in like a spreadsheet format. Let's just do one real quick because I love this stuff. How about a sample grade book? Create a sample grade book. What subject? Social studies? 8th grade? Student names are animals. Okay. Let's see what it does with that.
So Mark, is this like Google's version of ChatGPT?
Yes, exactly. You got
Okay.
it. You got you. Yep.
Just trying to make sense of it. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
you're right. Exactly. And it's interesting you would say that. It's a great comment, because Google has been in the artificial intelligence game. They're one of the originals for a lot of the products that we have today.
Oh,
And in terms of machine language and product design, they've really been the leaders. It's just in the last year, OpenAI kind of got ahead of them, and then Microsoft went into the game with $100 billion. But okay. So here's my results that are in Bard. That's a lot better visual experience than you might find in ChatGPT that I'm familiar with. But if you have a personal version of Bard, you'll be able to click on extensions, and I have a step-by-step on this, and then you can export it directly to Google Sheets. If you wanted to, you can also just select it and copy and paste it, and then basically have that same format. Oh, did you see what it did with the names? That's really cool. Every animal has a name and then the last initial with the same letter. Giraffe G, hippo H. Oh, that's fun. Okay, how are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing all right. Someone wants to join. Oh, okay. We'll take a minute. Did anybody do a Bard prompt while I was rambling and you wanted to give us some input? Does anybody have a prompt that we could try with Bard? We're just trying to get a sense of how it works.
One thing that I do want to share is,
Yes.
so we had a technology symposium, and actually just now taking an image, I went ahead and added the banner that we used.
Yes.
Which is basically the human hand, the robotic hand with the world in the center, and the theme for our symposium.
Mm-hmm.
And it really went in and gave me a very detailed interpretation of what that would mean, and how it was a positive image and so forth. So it's
Good.
it's content, right? The brand new content, and it's giving me feedback on it.
Good. Oh, that's so powerful to be able to have an assistant to start to give some verbiage for analyzing the quality of a graphic. How simple. That's great. Okay, so Sally says, I asked about sightseeing in Egypt and it showed images, suggestions, and hotels. Very cool. That's great. Okay. Well, I don't want to tarry too long because I'm excited about sharing about Duet. So are you ready? Let's go over there and look at Duet. So just a little bit about the product before we get into that. Looks like we lost Jaime. Are you back, Jaime? Okay. Well, do say hello if you come back. Okay, so this is just a little slide that I pulled from Google to explain basically what is Duet. And it's kind of crazy making, isn't it? With so many products that are coming at you on your phone and at work and in your email, and everybody says, try this and try that. And that's probably one of the reasons you came today, was like, okay, help me sort this out. And so that's what this is about. I know there's a lot of text on here, but I'm just letting you know. I'm going to share this slide deck again with you. But just in short, you know, you may have heard about these different features that are basically brought in. And one is for docs called Help Me Write. And what's the one for sheets called? The one for sheet is called Help Me Organize. And what about the one for slides? It's called Help Me, or Helping You Help Me Visualize. I'm not a big fan of the names. You know, it's taken me a little time to get used to them, but I get it. You know, whatever. I'm not a product designer, but I just care about how they work and what they do, right? And then there's Helping You Connect, which I haven't really explored, and that's, they say here, video capabilities and so on. Okay, so for today's experiment with Duet AI, I'm going to use an account that I have it enabled in, and we're going to do a little feud. A little feud. Don't worry, it should be friendly. You know the game show Family Feud, right? Have you played? I'm sure you, yeah, back in the day, I grew up on that show. And in this case, we're going to be the game designer, and we're going to have Duet be our contestant. So we're going to pick the answers. And the answers are going to be related to a story. So let me get to that slide. Just a second here. There we go. So let's imagine that we want to have a story about a dog and a pig who go to New York City on an adventure. And we'll ask Bard to write us this, not Bard, we'll ask, well, basically, I think it's Bard, but we'll ask Duet to help us in a Google Doc. So can I get some suggestions for the name for the dog? We're going to think of some names, and then we're going to see if we're predicting what Bard or Duet is going to think of. So let's have some suggestions for common dog names for pets. Don't everybody speak at once, huh?
Buddy.
Buddy. Go ahead.
Jordan.
One more time.
Jordan.
Jordan. Okay. What else?
Chloe.
Chloe. Oh, hi, thanks, Sheila.
Hi.
Chloe. Do you have a dog name? Oh, I see Rover.
I used to have a dog named Chloe.
Oh, sweet. Sparky.
How about Storm?
Storm. Hi, man. You came back.
Yeah, I've been on. I have to play with my settings here. Yeah, I've been listening.
All right, great. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so we got a few. I missed one or two. But I think one more time, Stephen.
Enzo.
Enzo. Oh, interesting. That's not a common one that I think Duet is going to think of, but if it did, I would jump up and down.
How about Spot?
Spot. Okay. Let me just add one more. They got room for one more. Spot. Okay. Now let's do pig names. Pig names. Come on, everybody. Pig names. Shoot them at me. Shoot them at me. Here we go.
Porky.
Porky. Okay. Next.
Crispy Bacon.
Crispy Bacon. Oh my goodness.
Poor pig.
P. Bacon.
Fred.
One more time.
Fred.
Fred the pig. Okay. All right. Okay, let's get a few more. Come on. Charlotte.
Wilbur.
Wilbur, not Charlotte. Yeah,
I know.
Wilbur.
I was going to say Wilbur was the pig.
Sorry, I had the wrong name.
Oh,
Charlotte's
there could be
about
a pig named Charlotte.
Napoleon.
How
Yeah.
about Sir Oinkalot?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. A lot.
And Little Miss Piggy.
Okay, that's all I have room for. Miss Piggy. All right. Okay, what famous or notable places in New York City will they visit?
The High Line.
Okay, next. Come on.
Empire State Building.
Thank you.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue, yeah.
The Apple Store.
Yeah. Times Square.
FAO Schwartz. FAO Schwartz.
Central Park.
And 30 Rock.
One more time. Go ahead.
I was going to say Broadway.
Okay, I'll put Broadway. All right, people, this is good. Okay, so let's go over and start a new doc. Wait a second. I don't have it in this account. Let me go to this other account. There we go. Story about a dog and a cat, no, and a pig, right? Who have an adventure in New York City. Use a 5th grade reading level. How does that sound? Once upon a time, there was a dog named Sparky and a pig named Wilbur. Hey, wait a minute. Let's just double check. I know Wilbur was one of the names, but that's a common name, right? But what about the locations? I see Empire State Building, 5th Avenue, World Trade Center. Okay, we did pretty good. So what am I going to do with this? Well, one of the things you can do with Duet is you can click back on the prompt and then you can edit it further. So what's something else I could do to refine this? Add something funny. I'm just going to press enter or click update and let's get a look at that. Okay, good. Live in a small town. Okay, so it looks a little, oh, look at that. At the end, it just puts a bonus funny moment. Didn't like that. But the other thing I could do in Duet here is I can select the text and then I can ask it to write some comprehension questions. So that's something that would be kind of fun to do. But in considering time, let's take a quick look at Google Duet AI in slides. So it's really a basic image generator that you find over here in your slide. So let's try and get an image of one of these pets. Can I have some assistance? Let's describe, or maybe we should imagine the scene. How about a dog and pig rescue a duck in a pond in Central Park, New York City. And then we pick a style. Photography, background, vector art, sketch.
Cyberpunk.
Oh, cyberpunk. Oh, this is going to be interesting. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to click that. And you never know what you get. You do know that with image generators like this, it doesn't really do people very well, unless you're using something high-end like Midjourney or something like that. Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
That looks like a hippo. Okay, this is good. I'm just going to click this one, bring it up so you can see that.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The dog looks a little scraggly.
He was wet.
And the lighting does look kind of out there.
Futuristic. It's cool.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, if I was back in my 5th grade classroom, I could take this image, put it with that story. This is a story that we, you know, the kids would have a kick knowing that we wrote this with AI, and we maybe even could add some details that they dreamed up. So that's the feature in slides. Now, what about Sheets? Sheets is called Help Me Organize. So let me go to sheets.new. Thanks again for your patience. I have an idea of something to create. Does anybody have a suggestion before I go with my idea? So what I'm going to see here is when I have it turned on, or it just comes up here, see Help Me Organize on the right side. Are you seeing that? Create a book list for, 10 books my 5th graders could read about friendship.
How do you get to that help me organize prompt?
Well, if you have Duet turned on, there's going to be that little icon, or in this case, it just comes on. It just
Oh, I see.
popped out. Are you
And
trying it?
how do we turn on Duet?
Okay, good. Simon, good question. So right now, they're rolling out Duet as a trial for corporate accounts of Google Workspace.
Okay.
And so if you're with a school or district, it wouldn't hurt to ask if they could have an evaluation of it. If maybe certain users could just try it out. You're not talking about it being used by students or anything like that.
Okay.
And then you could also, if you really wanted to have some experience with it, there is the option of having your own Workspace account, which is like $6 a month. And then you could ask for a trial, and then you could just cancel at Workspace after, Okay, so this is my book list that it created, and that was, now I could work with that. So, that was just a quick experience through Duet. And I'm sorry, I had a little hiccup there with the accounts, but I think we have the gist of it. How do you feel that Duet compares with using a straight AI tool like Bard or ChatGPT? Do you feel like it's something that you probably just need to try out a little bit more before you have an opinion? Yeah. Good. Excellent. Well, super. I'm going to make a few more comments, and then we're going to get to wrapping things up. One of the things I wanted to mention, since we are meeting today with Google Meet, is there are versions of Google Meet for schools, for Google Workspace for Education, that have advanced accessibility features like live translated captions and transcriptions. You also have the ability to share recordings, and they're easy to share because they're just automatically saved in your Google Drive. So that way students could review, or they could have the captions in their language when they review.
I think with Google Meet, the only one issue I had and have is like with you, when you were screen sharing,
Yes.
every time you switch a different screen, you have to reshare it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little bit buggy, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Zoom, it's live. It
Yeah.
stays with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So that was my only thing with Google Meet.
Yeah, and we got witnessing that. We got to witnessing that today.
And today
So,
we saw that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was the example. But I want to mention that because I like the fact that they're focusing these tools on features that provide better access for students.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so I told you I would share this resource page, and it's also in the slide deck. There's a lot there. And there's also these step-by-steps. So if you want to look at these again, like these classic features, I have them there. And these step-by-steps are like a minute long, where you could look at Duet, just screenshot by screenshot kind of thing. And
Are you going to email these to us?
yes, but I'm also going to put it right now in the chat, so you'll have a copy of that. And I also have a link that I would love if you would take a minute and do this evaluation, but we're not quite finished yet, so don't leave. Let me share this first, and you'll have this link. So this has everything we covered and a little bit more. Hide this just a second. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention. I know your brains are probably on overload. It's been a long day, hasn't it? I do want to say again, thanks for coming today. I am going to do somewhat of a follow-up of this, and it's called AI with Google in the Classroom. And primarily we'll be looking at a tool that's in Google Classroom called Practice Sets, and how that uses AI to help individualize, personalized instruction. It's a little misgiving because it's not available to every account. It's only available for Learning Plus editions, and I think Teaching and Learning Upgrade. But I don't know how many districts have that, but for what it's worth, it's great to see, what they've done to develop this tool. So that'll be Thursday at 3:30. Okay, so I said I would share the link for the evaluation. So let me get to that. And that is here. Just a second. Okay, there we go. There's the evaluation link. You just click on the workshop drop down, go to AI with Google, and then you go to session and you say, AI with Google. That was be today's session, December. And then, your comments. Mark was wonderful. He delivered a fantastic training. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not telling you what to say. So that's great. Jaime, yes, you have some comments for me there too, don't you? Okay. As we're wrapping up, I will take any comments you have, but I wanted to share one other AI feature that's hidden away in your Google experience. Are you ready for this? I do have a special slide deck on it, and I will share that with you. I can find it here. Oh, it's on the resource document. That's right. So let me just go there. Okay. So if you go to the resource document, you'll see here, there it is, Duet AI demo. That's the information on Duet. Some of it's what I covered. But then you go here, this is the slide deck I just shared with you. But here is SGE.
Well, we can't see the screen.
Yeah, see, there you go. I was sharing. I get
Google
so
bug.
ahead of myself. I need an assistant. Okay.
I was
I'm
able
not
to
gonna-
see the screen. It was just small.
Okay.
It
thank you.
wasn't the one you were on though.
Yeah, I'm going to share this tab.
You had to do a new
Thank you.
share.
You
Yeah.
have to do a reshare. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is kind of like if we were in the room together,
There you go.
which would
Yeah.
be nice. And I was standing behind a wall. I'm showing you a whiteboard, and I got it covered with a piece of paper or something. Okay, so this is called Search Generative Experience. And I didn't really go into it today because I figured this is like one of those extras. But here I have some steps on how to turn that on. And this is a tool that they're rolling out. And here's the catch. If I can just, what did I do with it? It's now gone. Let me open that again. I know we're coming up on the hour, so this is like the extra bonus. So it's called SGE, and you'll probably be hearing more about it if you haven't already. It's built in to make search a little bit more accessible or more informational, if you could say that, if that's a word. And it's still loading here, just a second. There it is. Okay, so SGE. So you have to look for that labs icon at the top of your Google account. If you don't have the labs icon, then you can probably go to Labs, Google Labs, just Google Labs and see if you need to sign up for it. But when you do click on the labs, you can turn these two SGEs on. One brings a little AI into your search, and the other one you can activate while you're browsing on websites. So just give it a try. That's a little extra for today. And there's no fee for that. It's just a feature that's added on to your Google search. So I don't think I was able to turn it on with my school account because, they've only given me permission for so many things, right? But I think it worked in my personal account.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Can we have a link to this thing that you're showing us also?
The SGE?
Yeah, the
document of the
presentation.
resources.
Oh, yeah, that's in the.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah, that's in the slide, but let me share it with you directly too. Thank you. This is the resource document. And a lot of those links that I mentioned in there, in that bottom section on the second page, are from Eric Kurtz. He did a great overview of a lot of these tools a few months ago in a workshop that I attended.